Crowdfunding. Well, I need to get the second book published and the artwork and everything. And Johnny Young Bosch is like my best friend on the anime circuit. And Johnny's had a band called iShine for about 10 years. And he goes, look, we crowdfund every one of our albums. And it's basically you pre-order the book, you buy it in advance, and I take the money and give it. But I feel guilty about doing something like that. Because when the book deal
Dan has an extreme guilt complex for everything.
I would have been a great
It doesn't matter if it was his fault or not. You can make him believe it, and he will take the blame.
I'll put myself in timeout.
Dan, I had fun at the panel last night. It's your fault.
Sorry.
This
Well,
is
you've
the
seen me
guy.
talk to people, so you're like, hey, I saw you at a con 2 years ago. I'm like, I'm sorry, it's too late to get your money back. I don't even bother to ask, did you like it? Was I good? I'm just like, it's too late, don't complain.
Well, at least everybody that's your friend knows that you won't pass blame on to them.
True. But I do need to, because the book needs done. My third novel, which is a whole separate series, is about 2/3 done and needs to get going. And we're starting audiobooks. I've had enough people talk me into, since, hey, you like to talk, you should do audiobooks. I'm like, really? Well, the worst part is, I'm a martial arts instructor. I have a big mouth with lots of range because I'm used to performing outdoors. But people recognize me by my voice. I'm like, really? I'm 6'7". You get a lot of 6'7" martial arts guests at anime cons? But I recognize you as soon as I heard your voice. That's so weird. And we go out to dinner with Todd Habercorn, and while we're at IHOP, he's trying to impress the cute waitress that I'm a voice actor, and the girl's looking at me going, you have a really nice voice. Do you do radio or something? And I'm like, no, I hit people with sticks. Which actually worked as a segue. See, if you talk long enough, you'll find a connection. This is our sword class. We're really excited to do a Japanese sword class. It doesn't look like it because we didn't dress out. Normally the sword class is full-on kimono and hakama and sandals.
I can't tie anything on right now.
My wife is broken and we didn't want to not match because that just would have been terrible. Actually, it just would have been awkward if my wife would have been wearing pants and I would have been in a skirt. But we really wanted to do a Japanese sword class here last year, but it was our first time in Denver. And Denver is, I don't know how many of you know this, but Denver is actually a huge hotbed for martial arts in this country. There is a tremendous amount of Japanese martial arts. Anybody saw opening ceremonies, the Taiko group is local, and they were fabulous. We had a Taiko group at our school. We worked with San Jose Taiko and saw Kodo and all that. These guys, those two were amazing. But so our first year, we didn't want to do a sword class because we didn't want people to get upset with us or think we were just fake. And now I'm heavily armed and medicated and I don't care. So we're going to do a sword class. The way it works is this. We have 24 open?
Yes.
Okay. You don't sound sure. That was your job.
We have the other two, so yes, there are 24.
Okay. We're actually going to do a Japanese sword class. The movements are real. We're going to do a couple of basic sword swinging exercises first. It's basically the kenjutsu version of walking and chewing gum at the same time test. And as long as you can do that, I'm going to let you hit each other. And the techniques we're going to be doing today are called ippon tachuchu, one-step sparring. And it's choreographed so that no one dies. This time. But since it is Sunday and I've already been paid, maybe all bets are off for the last half of the class. The way it works is this. There are 24 bokken on the floor. If you want to play, come get one. If you don't want to play, come get one anyway, because your friends might get you. There is no dignified way, but at least we didn't put them up on a table. We did this sword class in Tucson, Arizona, and they made me a table back there, and I put all bokken on the table, and we had like 300 people come to the panel, and I'm like, the first 24 people to get a bokken get to do class. And there was a mad rush for the table, and it was just like every 80s comedy ever. my sword. It's bigger than yours, dude.
I got a spare one he can take.
A spare sword.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if anybody actually brought a weapon to class, if it's okay for contact, you can use it if you want to. But if you brought a metal one, we usually teach with our stage combat blades, the metal ones that we use for bashing each other. But since we couldn't dress out, I would have felt silly actually putting it through the sheet. Like
All right. If you have a stick for right now, squeeze close together and line up with me facing the audience.
Because this is menacing, except for you with the hat. This is like Meet the Robinsons. Dude, I can't take you seriously like that.
No, you got to do this.
All right.
Okay, now we're going to make this a teeny bit challenging. I'm not making you do anything overly complicated.
Don't make them math, just point.
Yep,
Okay.
I just want every other person to come forward. We're going to start with you, so you come forward, you stay. You come forward, you stay. Forward, 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 and stay.
Yeah, that worked.
You are-
Oh, yeah, except with the one guy in the water. So he's got to be one. Oh, and we got him.
Okay, and you are going to come over here. You get this spot.
Does that kid look more like a wizard than a warrior?
That way? Perfect, yep, and
I don't know if
you
you
have
use
to sword
and
right
cast spells, it's cheating. Yeah.
I don't know, Gandalf.
Sometimes it doesn't work on the
All right,
All right, if you're holding a stick, will you trade me for just a minute? Oh, I promise I'll trade back. All right, if you're holding one of the boken, most of the boken you have, and the technical Japanese term is bokudo, or boken. It translates as wood sword or stick. And I realize it's just a stick, so people are going to use it like a walking stick and run it around their fingers like a baton. But at our school, once you have this in your hands, it is your representation of an actual shinken, a real sword. So please don't go spinning it. If it hits the floor at my dojo, that's 100 push-ups the first time the sword hits the floor. And I can't enforce that in an anime con because number one, you're volunteers. Number two, there's a good chance our entire group could do 100 push-ups. All right, but at my school, it's 100 push-ups the first time, 200 the second time, and the whole class has to do it. Because peer pressure is a beautiful thing with swords. Because you don't want to be the guy that made everybody else do push-ups because now they're mad at you. All right,
Yeah, probably.
but if you have one of them, okay, most of you have these round ones. Okay, the round ones are Chinese waxwood. We use them for our sparring exercises because they're very durable, and unlike the red oak and the cherry wood, they don't splinter as easily. But if you're holding one of the round ones, one end has Japanese letters on it, near one end, on almost all of them. That's actually the end that was designed to be the handle, or suka. It seems backwards because it's the fatter end, and we may not understand baseball very well, but we do understand the principles. You hold the narrow end so you can swing the other end hard and send that hat into left field. But for Japanese sword, the suka, the handle is actually thicker. It's designed to fit your hands, and the blade should be narrower. So you're going to use this end as the handle end. What I want you to do is take your dominant hand. I don't care whether you're right-handed or left-handed. Classical Kenjutsu, everybody trained the same way. So it doesn't matter if you're one in 9 in this country that's left-handed, you had to practice right-handed. I'm not as concerned with historical accuracy today as I am comfort and safety. So take your dominant hand and put it on the handle end near where you feel like you've got a balance point, you know, where you can control it. Not all the way at the end because you can tell you don't have as much control over it. Should end up right about here, where you've got good balance and you can stop the weapon before it does unspeakable things. Okay, now, once you've done that, take your support hand and you're going to put it near the very bottom. Your pinky finger should still be on the side, not underneath. It's a misapplication of a different concept. Here. If you did this right, you're going to note that your hands are 2 or 3 fingers width of space separated. That is actually how you swing a Japanese sword. Your hands are separated because it gives you not just push-pull dynamics, but more control over the blade. Here and stop, because you realize, oh wait, he's on my side. And if you're holding your hands near the bottom, like a home run hitter for baseball, you have less control of the bat, but you can hit it farther. And if you're a contact hitter, you choke up. Samurai, we're going to split the difference. So when you look at those movie posters, and there's some ninja with his hands like this going, whoa, please keep in mind, this is an actor, not a swordsman. You don't take their advice on swordsmanship any more than you do how to shoot a handgun. Because that's a big thing for me. It's like, no, the gun's going to jump. Anyway, thank you. Separate your hands like this. Now, as we face this way, I want you to take your right foot and put it in front. If you are dyslexic, your right foot is the one on this side. If you are not dyslexic, your right foot is still the one on this side. And before anybody asks, what if you're left-handed? This is still your right foot. Okay? You have your right foot in front. I want you to point the sword menacingly at the people in the audience who did not choose to arm themselves. Remember, the weapons-free zone is just a piece of paper. And I don't need to say any more, but now you know my standing on the Second Amendment. All right, so right foot in front. What we're going to do is our walking and chewing gum exercise. I'm going to count, since we're at a Japanese anime con, if it's okay with you, I'm going to count in Japanese. If you do not understand, ichi, ni, san, chi, when I make weird noises and everybody else steps, you do it too. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to step and swing the sword. So if we start with our right foot in front, when I count, you're going to take your back foot and move it in front and cut down. Okay? In Japanese, it's sashi, and if you keep the same foot in front, so you're shuffling, that's called suri. So we're still being specific. I'm just going to use English for most of the commands, or my dog's going to start doing things because we teach him in Japanese. Okay? So we're going to step. At the same time, you're going to swing the sword. We're going to do a straight cut, shomanuchi. So you're going to start here, and when I count, you're going to bring the sword up over your head. Now please see that the sword, I'm holding it this way, horizontal. Bring it back to here. This is a good aggressive cutting position. Do not bring it clear back like this. In sword combat, if the wrist bend this way and break, that is a target of opportunity for an opponent. That I'm going to go here and keep you from being able to swing. From here you can block. From here you can't. So you're going to bring it up over your head and step and reach out and cut right down the middle. Your goal is to cut all the way through the person in front of you without hitting the floor. Okay? Easy way to do that, don't look at the floor. This is like driver's ed. Hopefully your teacher taught you to not stare at oncoming traffic, because the tendency is you drift towards it. If you look down at the floor, it changes the set of your shoulders, and you're more likely to hit the floor. You want your sword to stop just below knee height, but for God's sake, cut all the way through. If you take modern Aikido, their Aikiken, they stop shomanuchi at Chudan level. That's waist height, because they're not teaching you sword combat. They're teaching you Aikido principles with a sword. They made that change in the 1920s. The leader of the group said the way the sword is done, it's time to move on, and they changed their sword techniques. I'm saying that because I teach this stuff. Okay? You want to cut all the way through, though. When the zombie apocalypse happens and he's coming at you with a sword and foaming, you don't want to go, wah, and stop right here. Because the sword is stuck in his pelvic girdle, and while you're going, give it back, she's going to eat my brains. Okay? So the goal is to step, reach out, cut right down. And we're going to do it this way towards the audience because it keeps them from laughing at us. If we're going the other way, we're just going to look at our butts and take weird pictures. So every time I count, step back. Nope, by step I mean put your other foot in front. There you go, the one on that side. I'm going to count. You're going to step and cut. We're going to move forwards. We're going to do this twice. So on each, step forwards. On knee, step forwards. And then on san, we're actually going to go backwards. But I'll get you. All right, are you ready? we're gonna take a good step, don't crouch too much, but bend the knees a little bit so you've got leverage and drive so you can push. We're coming forwards, ready? Each step, cut down. Again, without hitting the nice lady with the video phone. I don't know who hit him. Check the tape. Ready? Knee, forwards, cut down. All right, now we're gonna go backwards. You're not gonna turn around. All of us. When I count, you're gonna bring the sword up, step backwards and cut down. You see how I kept my weight forwards? Do not lean backwards and swing. You have no power. And if you hit somebody in armor, we'll call it armor, or a really hard head, if you're leaning back and hit, you're just kind of basically doing the quit, stop with a sword. Okay? Our children's class, we call this bad dog defense. You've got sword, big dog comes in, you step back and say no, because that's positive reinforcement. Okay, so we're going to step back and cut down. Opponent's coming in, and the reason why we do this, if you've seen an actual Japanese sword, has a wooden handle, but it has a metal cap on the bottom, called a kashira. It's for close quarters combat. So if we get this close, I can go wham and bust her in the mouth with that, because that's awesome. But if I take a step back, I can hit her with this part, the sweet spot on the blade, and that's more awesome. That's not just a dental bill, that's a oops, there's now two of her, and I'm not sure we're ready for that. Okay, so big step back. Ready? San! Step back and cut. Shi! Kamai. Kamai just means point the sword menacingly at the audience. Okay, in Japanese, kamai means ready. And this is where we started. So this is our kamai position. We're going to do it again. If you've ever seen the samurai movie, or a Samurai Jack episode, when they swing a sword, samurai yell. It's called kiai. It's a war shout. All right, there's three ways to kiai. The first version, you yell first. You're jacking yourself up. You're also trying to cause fear in the heart of your enemy. So you yell because hopefully it'll make them tense and lock in position for just a microsecond that gives you an advantage. Ah! We don't do that in anime cons because it frequently leads to swords being thrown in the air and people wedding. The second way to kiai is after you cut. Because the samurai, we're supposed to be peaceful warriors. So you step forward, you cut them down, and then you kiai to release any pent-up hostility and aggression. We don't do that one either because it looks kind of like this. You step forwards. Wah! Discount double check. And it just looks like you're mocking your foe. The third way to do it is at the same time as you cut with the sword. This is a martial principle where you're unifying mind, body, and spirit into one, so your whole focus goes into that cut. Because your whole world depends on that cut succeeding. Because if you miss, there is no second cut. Bad guy gets your brains. I'm not sure why the samurai get brains, but today they do. So we're going to yell. Being Japanese, they left nothing to chance. They codified everything. On each, when you step forwards, and I'm going to count, you're going to step and yell, hey! Conveniently enough, that's the first letter of the alphabet. Even in Colorado, you got that far. So on each, hey! On the second cut, on me, you're going to yell, ya! I realize that's not the second letter of the alphabet. This is Japanese, and that's how they cut in combination. Hey! Ya! Okay, so we're going to do that going forwards and going back. Make some noise. Let the people in the hallway know they're missing out on fun, but all the both are taken, and it's too late now. All right, coming forwards. Ready? Each. Hey! Nice. Knee. Yeah! Backwards. San. Hey! She. Yeah! Come on. That was great.
This side was a lot louder than this side.
This side had more guys and they're too self-conscious. I love teaching at anime cons because I do this stuff for a living. I get serious people pay money to learn how to fight with swords. So I'll get a 6'8", 300-pound football player out on the floor And he doesn't want to look stupid. So he won't yell. So I give him a sword, and you have this huge monster guy going, hey? And it makes him look stupid. Enemy comes are different. You guys don't care about looking stupid. If you did, we wouldn't dress like this. So we're just here to have fun. So let it out. I also noticed they got a little quieter going backwards than going forwards. Make some noise. If you do this really well, I'll let you hit each other next. All right, coming forwards. Aim at the audience. Don't actually hit the audience. All right. Ready? Each! Hey! That's it. Knee! Yeah! Backwards. Song! Hey! She! Yeah! Come on. We're moving to Colorado. You guys are awesome. All right. You've passed. We're going to let you hit each other now. What I need you to raise your hand if you are left-handed. If you're holding the sword left-handed, we got two. Would it be easier to send him down there? Or, all right. I'm going to send you down here. You're going to be his partner, and that means you have been traded for this guy and a player to be named later. Actually, if you want, you can stay, and we'll move somebody down with you. Can I get you to jump? Jill, did you move him down one? Jill! Did you move him down one? Okay, so I don't need to send somebody down.
Are you sisters?
Sure.
Don't let him partner! Where's Paul?
If you want mushrooms, the one I can
See that kid back there? We already talked about this. Siblings, they shouldn't even be standing next to each other. The only injury we've had in this sword class in 15 years, two college girls, they were roommates, and I didn't let them partner with each other, but they stood next to each other. And we had more times when they were a little bit more advanced line. We let them move sidestep, which is big in Japanese sword combat. Everybody was supposed to move left and hit. And so the girl on this side moved left, and her roommate was talking to her, and she moved this side. They hit each other.
All right, I want everybody to make one small slide towards the audience so that we're a little bit further away from the electronics. Thank you.
All right, remember we're your partner. And for right now, I'm going to have you guys lower the swords from where you're at. The easiest way to do that and give us a little bit of a zone to show you the move is just step back the sword here. Basically, you're going from what we call Chudan Kamai to Waki Kamai. It was a hiding the sword position in combat. You still know I have a sword, but this makes it harder to gauge distance. This is pretty self-explanatory. This way, though, he doesn't know how far I can reach, but it also gives us a zone. This is what we're going to do. My wife is going to be the bad guy. She just is. Left foot in front. Bad guy, you're going to take the sword and you're going to hold it just outside of your right ear. My lefties, do what you normally do and do the opposite of everything your authority tells you to. So for you, left ear, you got it, and right foot in front. Perfect. That's why we put you two together, just so it's easier for us to train. All right. So bad guy, you're going to hold the sword here, opposite your ear. It's called hasso. It's a ready position. You see it in movies all the time. Down here. This is lazy, and you can't hit very hard with the sword. You see it in movie posters also when they do close-ups. You get the guy's face, and the shiny part with the waves in it, and the temper line. And if they take a picture of this, it looks like he's playing Quit Hitting Yourself. But this is actually the samurai position, so if your opponent is fast, you can just go here with leverage and power. If the sword's down here, you bring it up first and then down, and that's two movements where they're moving forwards in one.
What's the distance?
Just outside your shoulder. Remember, samurai armor, they had sode on the arms, and they had a shoulder pad. Prior to 1300, they actually had a plate there. It was flat. And when they'd come up like this, they'd bring the sword up and back, and it would flip the plate so it was upright behind the shoulder. Just outside of your ear. Again, kids class, we call this hello hasso. Because I tell them, your mom called, answer the phone, she's mad and yelling. So bring the sword out. That's your position. Good guy, that would be the other side. Also left foot in front. You're going to point the sword at the middle of their chest. Chew down combine. In real life, you aim it just higher, so that if the movement continued, you would hit right at the top of the sternum where the clavicle ends. There's that little notch right there. And that's where you're inserted, yeah. Because there's no metal armor there, and even if they have the mempo, that's the face mask with the little things hanging down, it's the thinnest part of the armor, and you can put the blade through it easier. So you'd aim there. For sword class, it is safer if you aim for the middle of the sternum, just in case we get excited and screw up. Because he's going, wait, what? And looks away when he's supposed to move, and you go, wham! If you hit him here, he's going to have a bruise on his sternum that's just kind of awkward. Girls, if you end up with a bruise on your, that's going to be hard to explain. But it's an ow, that kind of hurt. And the class goes on. If you get hit in the throat with the blunt end of a stick going this way, it can actually bruise your larynx and it'll swell and you can't breathe. And either you pass away or we perform an emergency tracheotomy with a butter knife. And that's cool, but cons really frown on it. So, middle of the chest. So, bad guy. So, good guy. You can just use one of those. My wife is going to give you commands because why should I be doing when she bosses around? When she says, yoi! This is a Japanese command. Please do not confuse yoi with yaoi. These are two different things. In this case, yoi means prepare to be attacked by a sword.
So it is yaoi.
Okay, so it is Alright. So, on yoi, bad guy, you're going to bring the sword down into attack position because the first move we're going to stab him. Good guy, when you hear yoi, you're going to move the sword tip off to the right. That does two things. It sets you up to make the block, and it's a reinforcement on which way we're going. Because she's attacking me. If both of us have our swords pointed like this, we might get confused. And when she says, each, both people step, and we create mutual samurai shishkebab. Okay? So you're going to yoi, you're going to move the sword off to the side. When she says each, bad guy, you're going to step. You're going to stab right through the middle of their chest and extend. The good guy is going to step backwards when the bad guy steps forwards, okay? So if you're attacking, please do your opponent this solid. When you attack, put the sword where it's supposed to go. If they don't move, don't go off to the side. Stop and look at him and he'll go, oh yeah, I should step back. And then complete the movement. If you're too far away, just go, he doesn't have to respond. Also, if you go this way, it goes, whoa! What he's just now learned is that there is an invisible force field protecting him from all harm, and he's going to step out into the parking lot and get hit by a Ford truck, and it's your fault. Okay? So, we're here. We have yoi, sword down, sword tip over. On each, bad guy steps and stabs, good guy steps back as well, and we also block from this side to this side so the sword strike misses. Ready? This way. Now, do you see where her sword point is? If she keeps going, the sword misses me and gets him. And there was much rejoicing. Did anybody see The Princess Bride?
Yes.
Do you remember when Inigo Montoya got run through both shoulders? It was awesome because he did those blocks. Bad guy stabs and he went, wah! Okay, he didn't block quite wide enough. Great movie drama, bad martial science. So block wide enough that it misses, but don't smack the sword. If she stabs, you don't want to go this way because you're giving her energy and she'll whip around and hit you in the head. So your block is kind of like guiding them. They're doing it wrong. You're supposed to be over here so I can kill you. Okay, so we have Kamai, we have yoi, swords move. Each, both people step. That guy stabs, good guy blocks. From right here, on knee. Bad guy, your job is to hold still. Die with dignity. Good guy, you have your right foot in front. Keep it in front. Remember when we were doing our walking and I said you have sashi, which is stepping, and suri, which is shuffle? We're going to shuffle this time. You have your right foot in front. You're going to keep it in front. Your sword's on the inside. You control the center line. So we're going to shuffle in and just reverse the blade. Wah!
And you're going to stop about a foot from your partner's face.
This is why, bad guy, your job is to freeze. What normally happens, if I gain control of the center line and move inside of her attack and go to bring this up, if she flinches, what normally happens is she brings her sword up and it will complete the motion. Because I'm stopping here, but he adds energy to it. Now I'm stopping here. And you've got a souvenir to take home because his head goes this way. Okay? So we're going to do the whole thing one time, and then we're going to make you guys do it.
This is how our counting scheme will work. Yoi,
Swords
we
move.
move into position. Each stab and block. Knee,
Shuffle in return.
off with their head.
And then, victory dance!
I don't think so, Dan.
Victor, you can't say anything. Your head's a cage.
All right, face your partner.
I'm in a bad place.
If you are facing the audience, you are going to be my first bad guy. Put your sword beside your ear. Your left foot should be in front.
Yes. Okay.
I
don't know left from right.
All right. Now, before we go any further, please make sure you're close enough that with one step you could actually reach your partner. We shouldn't have to airmail our attack. There we go. All right. Our good guys, you are the ones currently facing the stage. Your left foot should also be in front. And you should currently have your sword pointed at the other person, keeping them away from you and out of your space. And when they're shorter, this is trickier because you do have to lower and extend. It's partly bending your legs, it's also extending your wrist. So that the tip aims lower. Because right now, there you go. If it's over her head, she's going to kneecap you. That keeps her further away. The bitey shark stays away. All right. Without moving your feet, we are going to do the first command, the yoi. So the feet stay still. We're going to move the swords. Yoi. Attackers, bring the weapon down, point it at their chest. You are ready to play shish kebab. Defenders, your sword should tip to the right. You are baiting them to come get you. And that's a good time to remind you, if they're coming to get you, please step backwards, not forwards. All right, here they come. I'm going to count. They're going to stab. You're going to step backwards and block. Each stab them.
I'm the martial arts instructor.
And you want to go
and my
sideways,
wife is
so you should have gone to this side, that way.
So me coming and talking and letting her actually run the move and working with them.
All right, now attackers, hold still and die with dignity. They're going to take off your head. Knee, reverse it and off with their head.
Kill almost any guy.
Good. All right, reset. Let's try it again.
And
All right.
then we take her serious.
Not yet.
And it's encouraging.
We got to do it a couple more times and then we'll switch jobs. But for right now, exact same jobs. Left foot in front for everybody.
My daughter was 5.
And without moving your feet, yoi, bring the weapons into position.
So blue is
And each stab them. Knee off with their head. Good. All right, we're going to do it twice more. Left foot in front.
And so we're doing
Ready
our
positions and without moving your feet,
to
yoi.
watch. So
Don't move your feet yet.
Michael.
All right, now you get to go get him. Each stab. Knee off with their head. Good. One more time.
Girls do this?
Without moving your feet, yoi. Weapons into position. And each stab. Knee off with their head.
She got the flu on. She got
All right. We're going to trade jobs. You're not trading positions, so stay where you're at. But we're going to trade jobs for what you're doing. If you are facing the stage, you are the new good guy. No, you're the new bad guy. Left foot in front, weapon up beside your ear. If you are facing the audience, left foot still in front. Good fix. And your sword should currently be pointed at them, keeping them away from you and out of your space. All right, without moving your feet. Yoi, attackers, bring the weapon down, pointed at them. Defenders, tip your sword to the side, to the right. You are telling him to come get you, and you're going to block across when he stabs. All right, here they come. Each stab, step back and block. Step backwards so you don't get through. You gotta step back. Move your foot. Hold, step. There you go. So you step and push. And then release the pressure just a little. There you go. Alright! Now, attackers, hold still and die with dignity. Here comes the defender. Knee off of their head. You're supposed to stop before you hit it. Knock it in the air. Don't actually cut his neck. Alright, let's try it again. Left foot in front. Without moving your feet. Yoi! Weapons into position. Tip the sword to the side if you're defending. There we go. Here they come. Each stab. Block across. Good. Knee off with their head. Perfect. Twice more. Twice more. Here we go. Yoi. Weapons into position. And each stab. Knee off with their head. Nice. One more time. Here we go. Yoi, weapons into position. And each stab, knee. Take off their head. Nice.
Wait a minute, I saw no victory dances at all. There we go, thank you. Look, we did this panel at MTAC, that's Middle Tennessee Anime Convention. We were in Nashville, and they line danced. It was the weirdest thing ever. Actually, they lined up. We don't normally go to the rave because that's kind of the younger crowd. But we went to the rave at MTAC the first year we were there, and honest to God, there were 400 people line dancing at an anime rave. That's why we went in. I'm like, what's going on in here? And I look, and there's line dancing, and I never thought we'd see that.
All right.
Next move.
Kasumi, half of the group at a time. Yes?
Don't tell me what to do, woman. This is my ass. I think we should do Kasumi. No. We're going to do one more stabbing attack first.
Okay.
Because this is a ridiculously cool move, and I like it. For those of you wondering, for traditional Japanese swordsmanship, the the edge, was the real bread and butter for the samurai. And for most Kenjutsu-ryu, the schools, over 70% of the techniques were designed to take advantage of slashing movements. But the kasaki, the tip of the sword, was actually the sharpest part of the blade. And so the remaining 30% of the moves were designed to be done really, really violently and nasty. And most of the ninjutsu training, if you're going to talk the actual ninja stuff and not what's on the turtles and wait a minute, those are real. My instructor was in the, did anybody see the first two Ninja Turtle movies?
Yeah.
Do you remember Tatsu? That was Shredder's henchman? Yeah. Our father, gone! I am Tatsu, now leave. That's my sensei. You know, the one Casey Jones beat up with a golf club? He loves me introducing him around the country as the guy Casey Jones beat up with a golf club. So, we're going to do one more with the tip because this defense was also used on the battlefield as a defense against spear attacks. Because Japanese swordsmanship and empty hand and knife combat is based on spacing between his center and mine with reach. So you notice while I'm talking to him, he is just outside of reach, not by much, but I didn't have to hesitate to bring the boken up because I knew I was going to miss. Just enough to make your parents nervous. Because usually I go, whoa! So the goal is, on the attack, when you come here and go here, when you step, as soon as your center moves, your opponent moves. Because that way they stay safe. A spear was different though, because you could go from here, the first strike is called Nukitsuki, and you go this way. Because your hands move, and it extends your reach without moving your center. It's designed to catch a samurai off guard. So to combat that, they came up with this posture. We're going to do it as a sword technique. So we'll have both people left foot in front again.
All right, I want you guys to back up a bit for me.
Yeah, just a little bit, because this
Here,
one's going to
back
come a
up
little
big
wider.
step.
Well, they should. It's them. They are moving. Ta-da! We start here. On Yoi, bad guy brings the sword down. Good guy, you're going to bring the sword up. Not this position we did before. This is Jodan. you're going to bring it almost straight up. You see how from the side, the sword is in front of my face, but above it? We got good tall ceilings, so we can do this. This is called Daijodan, or great overhead position. The sword is here in front of you, so that if the bad guy attacks and changes spacing without having to move their body, like with a spear, you can just go here. And if they go higher, you go higher. If they go lower, okay? Reason why we're doing it left foot in front is we're going to step anyway. So on Yoi, both people move, and on each, the bad guy steps and stabs. You're going to step back, and you're going to block down away from your now front leg. Does that make sense? It's almost like you're pulling them this way. Now you're going to see, if you see people do kendo, you're going to see them do this. Because with a shinai, you can do that. But if somebody actually has a 3-pound steel blade and they're ramming it towards your chest and you go like this, what's going to happen is you're going to hit the side of their blade and pop the sword right out of your own hand. And they're still going to hit you. So when you do that move, keep the fingers closed. You will do a lot of wrist flexibility exercises for swordsmanship because grip is important. Okay, so you're going to step back and block down. Just like last time, just enough that it misses your body. That's each. On knee, bad guy, hold still, good guy. You're going to move in, but you're going to reestablish the center line. This way and drive the sword. You go in one side and out the other. If you are a guy, and if you're the bad guy, we're going to trade jobs here for just a minute. Here's the side. Now I'm the bad guy. I look just like her. And you're going to do this one-handed nice and slow. I want you to watch what happens. We do yoi, and on each, I step in. If I keep my hands low like this, when she does knee and stabs me, she's going to go over the hands and stab me here. For those guys that want to stab really high, we go yoi, and we go here, boom! She can't go over my hands. Guess where the sword's going? For the record, if I'm going to die, put it here. If you put a hole in my heart, I'm not planning on using that in the afterlife. Wait, never mind. It almost sounded like a 72 Virgins joke. All right, so we're going to do it one time and then I'm turning it loose. We have Kamae, and then
Yoi.
sword up,
Each.
step back, walk down.
Knee.
Slide in. Now look, do you see how the sword is on my center line? That gives me power and accuracy. Don't block and turn sideways and come in this way. The kasaki, the sword tip is angled and you're going to deflect off the sternum or a rib or the armor, the dough, the breastplate. Line it up so you can skewer them. Just kebab's fun as long as it's not mutual.
Actually hitting your partner.
Well, wait. Is he your partner? You can hit him.
No, sure you hit him.
Hit who? You're not even
They
collateral
were last
damage.
time.
All right, they're all yours. Kill them all.
All right, if you are facing the audience, you are the bad guy first again. Left foot in front, weapon up beside your ear. If you are facing the stage, you are the good guy. Left foot in front, weapon currently pointed at them. Now, we're going to do one more thing to keep us a little bit safer for this. Can you two shift that way? A few steps. Keep going. Keep going. All right, you guys, come this way a little bit. Excellent. I like Colorado. You guys are smart. You already figured out we're setting up spacing so that you have room to not club into other sides. All right, you guys got to back up that way. You guys come this way. Keep going. There we go. You guys are going to
We're all from out at the beginning. We're
up that way.
we're just the first.
All right. Now we've got a little more room for that swing without actually clubbing somebody. Just be cautious of the person beside you. All right. Everybody should be left foot in front. Except my left. All right. Without moving your feet. Yoi, attackers, bring the weapon down pointed at their chest. Defenders, your sword should be up. Now, most of our attackers need to move a little further forwards. That'll do two things. It will keep you safer. Back. You want room to swing here without blowing your head on the side? Take her back up.
Probably watch out for his hat.
Cindy, back up further. And your sword needs to come up. There we go. All right. We look ready to go. They're going to stab. You're going to step back and block down. Ready? Each stab up and block. Make sure you step so that you're driving the sword away from your legs. Step back so you're shifting right foot in front. Yep. All right, now you're going to return the stab. Knee, shift in and stab. It's good. All right, reset. Let's try it again. Back up. I want you to come back to this spot each time. Perfect. All right, without moving your feet. Yoi, weapons into position. Sword is up for the defender, ready to block. Here we go. Each stab up. Knee, stab him back. Nice. Twice more. Yoi, weapons up. Ready to stab for the attacker? We're in Yoi already. This is really cool. And each stab him. Knee, stab him back. One more time. Good. One more time. Yoi, weapons into position. And each block. Knee, return. Nice. All right, training jobs. So, if you're facing the stage, you're now the attacker. Left foot in front, weapon up beside your ear. Defender, left foot in front. Currently with the sword pointed at him, keeping him away from you. All right, without moving your feet. Yoi, attacker. Bring the weapon pointed at him. Defender. Swords are up, ready to block. All right, here they come. You're going to block down and to the side. Each block. Knee, stab him back. Nice. Yep. Let's try again.
Stay. Shoulders stay. Okay.
Yoi, weapons into position.
You're pointing at my chest.
And up if you're defending.
Left.
Throw your sword up, ready to block. There you go. Here they come. Each block down. Knee, stab them back. Good. We're gonna do it twice more. Yoi, weapons into position. And each stab. Knee, stab them back. One more time. Yoi, weapons into position. And each stab. Knee, stab them back. Nice. Alright. Remember where you're at, because it's going to be relevant again in just a minute. But for now, make this a hole in the middle again. Space out a little. Perfect. Sensei.
Italia fan.
And I saw some, I didn't realize that he had become such a viral, important thing until I was at an anime con and somebody was cosplaying as Bob, and I'm like, what anime is that from? You look just like a painter guy I used to watch when I was a kid. I'm like, dude, it's Bob Ross. I'm like, I knew that, but he passed away before you were born. The really funny thing is that you're a Bob Ross fan. Did you know his job before he was a painter? Do you know what he did? He was a drill instructor in the military. And so it was his job to be the harsh yelling and keeping on everybody. And it was so against who he thought he really was, he started painting as a way to express himself more peacefully. And it was good enough that when he got out of the military, he made a living at it. In prison. You're like, we're going to leave that part out? I don't even remember what he went to prison for, but this isn't the forum for that. Oh, well, I hit people all the time. Oh, wait, I'm on martial arts instructor. I have parents ask me, do you hit your kids? And I know what they're asking. They want to know if I'm in favor of, physical. Yes. I'm like, yeah, I hit my kids publicly. In fact, people like it so much, they pay me to hit their kids.
had one mom who was a really, 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 really difficult child.
Same.
Like, if anybody read Calvin and Hobbes, he was like the real life
This
version
is
of
Calvin, that's what they called him.
They had him tied straitjacket style into his winter coat because they had to stop at a florist shop. And he did she had the back of his collar and he managed to squirm his arms out and drop underneath, out of the coat, and he stuck both arms out sideways and went running down the aisle of vases, destroying things. Their stop at the flower shop cost him over $600 to replace everything that was broken.
Bet you've never tied up a 6-year-old for gold.
Yeah. Nope.
He started our kids' kickboxing class, and one or the other, we were working on a chambered sidekick, shift in and strike. It was his turn to hold the pad, and his mom's sitting on the benches watching class. One of the kids that's about a year older than him, and he had been terrorizing. Xander got to hold the target. That kid came up and sent him sailing.
Knocked him down, pad went flying and hit the wall. And I'm like, that mom's gonna be furious. And she was laughing.
She was laughing and got out her smartphone and asked us to do it again.
And Xander did the same thing all little kids do when they fall down. They look around first, so if somebody's watching, they'll start crying, and if not, they just get up. He looked around for his mom and was going, what? It was awesome. All right, so we did the stabby thing. Now we're going to make use of the edge, okay? So we're going to change things up. And when I say a little, I really mean a lot. Do we have enough depth this way? Do you want to stagger them instead of going halvesies?
I already did.
To do the,
Yeah.
We staggered.
for the side stuff. Okay.
We staggered for the last stabby attack.
Oh, I'm going to say, we haven't done the move yet. Don't mess with me. I have a concussion that I'm having problems. I still have concussion symptoms, and she'll mess with my head like that.
Hey,
We already had dinner. No, we didn't. Did we?
Do we have permission to start?
If you have permission to mess with the guy on Sunday afternoon in an all-ages panel, the answer is yes. For your other comment, shame on you. All right, bad guy, still left foot in front, still in hasso. Good guy, we're finally going to let you put your right foot in front. So you're going to start in Chudan this way. On Yoi, bad guy brings the sword up over their head. This time in that Chodan position we did earlier, because her job is going to be to step forwards and swing right down the middle and cut me in half because we need 2 samurai dance.
Yay!
That way I can be in stereo. All right, so on Yoi, she's going to bring the sword up. Good guy, you have your right foot in front, you're in this position. You're going to rotate your hands around and up on your left side. So your hands are going to be just outside your shoulder, but above your head. The sword is going to angle across in front of you, so that the sword tip is just outside your right shoulder, and the sword is angled so it protects your front leg. Does that make sense? And it's going to be angled this way, downward. It's a roof block. You guys are in Colorado, you get enough snow, you understand flat roof is bad. So you're going to angle it this way, so when she hits, the sword is going to go down this way. All right, this is called kasumi. You're going to see it in the movies where it's here, because again, they're looking for a good pose for the cover. This is not a good position to block, because her sword is going to go this far through my head until it meets resistance. Okay, so we have Yoi. She comes up and I rotate up to this side. On each, the bad guy is going to step forwards and swing right down the middle. You're not going to be there. Okay? When the bad guy steps, you're going to slide to your left. And if you're moving to your left, you move your left foot first. Okay? You see martial art moves all the time where they do this stealing step. That's not under contact and pressure. It's a movement for out of range, because you want to look cool like a stalking mongoose. Okay, in real life, if you cross your feet, you have destabilized the base, and that's going to come through. So you're going to bring it up, and when she comes forward, you're going to drag your left foot out of the way, and then follow it by bringing your right leg over as well. The sword is going to put pressure on yours, but you're no longer there. Give, let it bring the sword around and up to Jodan! Guess what the next move is? Yeah, whack-a-mole.
That's very nice.
So you're going to do a return strike, but you're going to stop the sword at least a foot above their head. If you're a full-time Japanese sword instructor and your tolerance level is to go here, great, prove it on your own time with your own spouse. Just because there are variables, especially as we start moving, and if you roll your ankle or your foot catches, your swing's going to go all over it. Okay? You want to count us through this once?
All right. We will have yoi. Both people will bring the sword up. Each.
Step.
Strike.
Take the impact. You can pull the sword out of the way, so it just means air. But if that happens, if you pull the sword out too quickly, she'll readjust in midair and turn the sword sideways. Remember? Split hands. Boom. Angle change. So leave it there.
Knee.
Whack-a-mole!
Double tap.
Yeah, victory dance.
You're not safe.
I knew that.
All right, face towards your partner and offset again.
Does anybody else think it's really hot out there?
Yes.
I mean, I realize I'm the one talking and moving, but I'm sweating and I tend to feel really embarrassed about it.
All right.
That guy's not
you are
ashamed.
facing the audience. You are the bad
You guys
guy
are hot,
first.
especially.
Left
and you
foot
still
in front,
have
weapon
your
up beside your ear. If you are facing the stage, you are the good guy. Put your right foot in front this time. And your sword should currently be pointed at the bad guy, keeping him away from you. You're the right foot. Perfect. All right. You did. I'm like, why did you switch? We'll fix it. All right. Without moving your feet. Yoi. Attacker, bring the weapon up, ready to hit him. Defender should be in their block. And the only tricky part here, you want to make sure your hands are outside your shoulder because he's aiming for the middle of your head. If your hands are in the middle, you're going to lose fingers. All right. You are going to be sidestepping to your left. With the exception of our blueprint, you're sidestepping this way. All right. Carefully, you're going to do a nice, the attacker's going to step and swing straight down the middle where you're at. You're going to sidestep out from under it. Each attack, sidestep. Let the sword come around, ready to hit him back. It should be your pause point. So let it swing and bring it up over your head. Let it swing. You're taking the momentum from your strike and letting it swing. And pausing here, and now you're going to hit him back. Here we go, knee, hit him back. Nice, all right, reset, let's try it again. We mostly got that. All right.
No problem, I understand.
Attacker left foot in front, defender right foot. You guys are going to back up a bit further though. There we go. Get him out of sidestep crash. All right, ready? Yoi! Bring the weapon up over your head, ready to hit him. Here we go. Each strike. Knee, hit him back. Nice. All right, let's try it again.
Victory dance, everyone.
We're going to do it twice more. Yoi! Weapons up. And each, go get him. Knee, hit him back. You missed. You hit his invisible buddy. All right, one more time. One more time. Yoi! Weapons up. And each. Knee. Nice. All right, we're going to trade jobs. If you are the attacker, you are now the defender. So your right foot is in front, and you should have your sword pointed at them, keeping them away from you right now. New attacker facing the stage, your left foot should be in front, and your sword should be up by your ear currently. All right. And you guys are going to need to move slightly to good things. So he has room to actually sidestep and not
I
fall.
like those guys. They're much smarter than I was led to believe.
Not all lefties are dumb.
All right.
Right.
Without moving your and you want to look under it so that you don't get hit. All right, they are going to strike. You are going to sidestep to your left, which is this way. Okay? And you don't want your hands in the middle or they're going to get hit. You want the sword in the middle. And you're going to move that way. Okay?
Forever.
Here they come. Each sidestep. Bring the sword up over your head and knees. Swing back and stop high. Good job. All right, let's try it again. Yoi, weapons into position. And you should be in your block already. Each strike. Move. Knee. Hit him back. You gotta move both feet though. You see how that time you almost got your leg? You gotta move both feet. All right, let's try it again. We got twice more. Yoi, weapons up. And each. Knee, hit him back. Good. One more time. You got extra half. One more time. All right, Yoi, weapons up. And each sidestep. Knee, hit him back. Good. Sensei. They survived. It's time for the coolest move.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome, I've been waiting for this. Stunt time. All right, remember your spot. But, we're going to do one more move. Bad guy does the exact same thing. Left foot in front, hasso. Good guy. You got to do your right foot in front. We're going to go back to the left foot in front. You're fired. I didn't want you anyway. Do we have a stunt double? Get out of here, one of you guys. You were here earlier, but the stick's really big. You're hired. Get out of here. You got one your size? Where were you?
Your spot right there.
Okay. Sorry. So
All right.
who are you hitting? Oh
The
yeah.
puffy hat.
All right. Good guy. We're going to go left foot in front again. That overhead block we just did, if you have your right foot in front, your hands go to the back side. That makes the Kasumi block a good triangle. If you have your left foot in front, it's perfectly acceptable to make that Kasumi block the other way, outside your right shoulder with the sword extended to protect your leg. The problem with that is, you notice when you bring it up, your wrists end up crossing. It's not as strong. If you end up fighting somebody really large or using a big weapon, anybody familiar with the Japanese Tetsubo? It's a spike 4-foot club, 8 pounds. Okay, Hulk smash.
Yay.
If you're in this blocking position and get caught on the battlefield where you can't get out of the way fast enough, I promised that guy I was going to trade him back, and I left him with my $75 wax or cherry wood token. Don't break that. Get it. If you end up like this, your wrist can cross. That's fine if you can move, but on the battlefield, what if there's somebody else there? Dead body, somebody else on your team, cliff, that's always bad. Or you can't sidestep. This isn't a good block. So the samurai did something else. And it's kind of a Hollywood move, but it is straight up out of 1550s battlefield techniques. You're going to start left foot in front, the sword out, and when the bad guy comes up to hasso, you're going to let go with your bottom hand, bring the sword up flat in front of you, put your support hand on this part. Japanese sword is only sharp on one side, and that's this edge, unless you're Roni Kenshin. And if you are, I got news for you. You're doing it wrong. Okay? So you're going to put your hand on the back of the blade, where it's not sharp. You'll see European sword combat do this. Japanese did not have segmented metal gauntlets. They had a metal piece that protected the back of the hand and a little loop around this finger to hold it in place. But they were bare fingers, so grabbing the blade like this is the sort of move you can only do once. Okay, and you don't want to do it this way, because as she swings, if she swings down, it's coming forwards and down, it'll pop right off of my hand. Okay, that's how you do bench presses, but not good for a sword. So you're going to go this way, lengthwise down your hand. You know, follow your love line. No, the one that forecasts your romantic future, as in if you do the move right, you have a future. If you do it wrong, there is no love life unless you're into necrophilia. So from here, on your way, bad guy comes up to Jodan, good guy, up. On each, bad guy steps and swings, good guy, catch it. You're not moving yet. Remember I said a flat roof is bad? Not this time. It's a trap. This is each. On knee, you're going to move to your left again. Left foot first, then right foot, and you're going to turn the sword. Watch what happens. Guess what comes next? The world's coolest, most accurate cool cue strike. In, out. And then your only job is finding a new toy because this one's broken. Okay? You can do this in motion, but there's got to be a little pause. It's like bullfighting. Here, side step and get out of the way, but you still got to catch it first. So come up, catch it, side step. Now I said move both feet. If you do Filipino martial arts or some of the Chinese arts, they do the same move, but since Filipino knife and sword combat was based with the barong and the kris, those are one-handed weapons. They're shorter, so you can make the move faster because you're doing it with one hand. As the strike comes in, you're going here and striking, and you can leave the leg there because they're using a short sword. Japanese sword, that katana, the cutting edge on that averages 28 inches in length. If you come around and leave your leg there, you will leave your leg there. It just won't be attached to the rest of your body anymore. Okay, so finish the movement. Get parallel. One time, ready?
Here's our counting scheme. Yoy, up, each,
Catch it.
knee,
Sidestep.
and
Skewer.
no victory dance!
The name of this technique is actually taken from Japanese architecture. It's called tori, which is Japanese for the arch, because you're making one. That's the two uprights and the flat.
All right, face your partner and back to your staggered offset positions. If you are facing the audience, you are the first bad guy again. Left foot in front, weapon up beside your ear. You guys gotta move back to that spot again. Oh, okay. Those two. They have to back up. Yes. All right, our good guy is back to left foot in front. All right, without moving your feet. Yoy, attacker, bring the weapon up over your head. Defender, up into your block. Your fingers should be pointed towards the tip on the free hand. And you're going to hold with the right. So switch your hands. Yes. And left hand fingers towards the tip. There we go. Good cat. Good adjustment. We are almost there. We look ready. Okay. Here they come. You're going to catch it. Each strike and catch. Knee, sidestep, and stab them. Nice. All right. Let's do it again. Yoy, weapons up, and each, catch it, knee, sidestep, and stab. Nice, reset.
Move your left foot first, I mean, once you can get you.
Again, yoy, weapons into position, and each, catch it, knee, sidestep, and skewer. One more time. Yoy, weapons up, each, knee. Nice. All right, we're going to trade jobs. If you are facing the stage, you are now the bad guy. Left foot in front, left foot beside your ear. New good guys, still left foot in front this time. But weapon pointed at them. All right, without moving your feet. Yoy, weapons up. All right, bring it back. Nope, bring it back to holding with two hands. Let go at the bottom. There you go. Perfect.
Got a good tip.
All right, we are almost there. We just have to rescue this little dude. You gotta be way up here. And we're almost there. You're gonna switch.
Yep, it's your sword now.
Hold that one in that hand. There you go. Hold on to it. Hold this up. Ready? You gotta hold
But
it
you
above
got
your head.
slight
It's gonna
curves
hit.
here, so that
All right, here we come. Each catch it. Knee, sidestep, and stab. Perfect. Good job. All right, let's do it again.
That's right. Yep.
In position, yoy, weapons up. Up in your block. And more time. One more time. Yoi, weapons up. And each catch it. Knee, sidestep, and skewer. Good. Sensei,
Don't be too late again. It depends how fast you get it.
they did it. But I feel like we're missing something.
Wait a minute, they're all standing. Look, if we're gonna end sword class, we need an epic death scene.
Awesome.
Epic. You guys deserve your very own William Shatner moment. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the same move we just did. We're gonna do it one time each way.
Oh, we're gonna add some.
Good guys, you have the same job. Bring it up and catch it, sidestep, skewer, and then be careful. Because bad guy, instead of just standing there boring, I want you to put some flair into your death. Die with style. I don't care if you die loud, quiet, quickly, or slowly. I only ask two things. Number one, die in your place. We had a girl in Wisconsin that was on the far end, and she died sideways, and we played dominoes with the The other thing is this. Hold on to your boken. Your death should not involve civilian casualties or collateral damage. Okay? So, yoi, each, knee, and then super death for the cameras.
All right, face your partner. If you are facing towards the audience, you are the bad guy. Your left foot is in front, and that means this is your epic death scene. All right, defender currently sword pointed at them, left foot in front. And here we go. Yoi, weapons up, and each attack. Knee, kill them.
Oh, now I feel bad.
All right.
I know this girl.
That was awesome.
All right, let's get back up another time. The other half is your square death scene. Just hold it.
All right, trading jobs. If you are facing the audience, left foot in front,
This one, then it goes in there.
and sword at them. If you're facing the stage, this is your epic death scene. All right, here we go. Yoi, weapons up into position. And each catch it. Knee, sidestep.
Is that like a bottle?
Double tap.
You guys are the very first time we did this death scene, we were at a con in Chicago in December. Remember the rule, you split up siblings and couples. It started because of this con in Chicago. We let a married couple partner with each other. The guy got to kill his wife first, so he came around and stabbed her, and she did the slow motion death. He threw his bogan on the floor, that's strike one. And he grabbed her in his arms, and he's like, I love you, I love you. I'm so sorry, I'll never forget you, and laid her on the floor. And I said, switch! That woman came up like she was demon possessed. And we traded jobs. And she came around and stabbed him, and he did the same thing. He laid the boken down, and he went, oh, and he's looking at her going, oh, oh. And she's just standing there. Oh, and finally, honest to God, she picked up her foot, put it on his chest, and shoved it into the floor, and went, die! Die! He had to grab her, and the whole room was like, what's going on? And she looked around and glared, and she said, what? I'm like, nothing? We're fine. And she goes, do you know what he did? And we're like, whatever it is, it was just him. She's like, we actually came to this con last year, and we got married here. We're like, well, blame that con for that, not me. We got married here. Today is our 1-year anniversary. Oh no. And he forgot. And the whole class is running at this guy going, die! You guys were awesome. And this is why. It's because of people like you and how well you handled this. This is why conventions let us come and teach actual 16th century battlefield sword techniques and not boffer games. And I love those too. But there's a difference. That move, Tori, that you just practiced, was a huge battlefield technique designed to defeat armor in tight quarters. And you guys pulled that off without anybody getting injured. Thank you. You are awesome.
We did it wrong.
No. The Japanese divide their techniques into killing style and family style. Killing style was what they did on the battlefield, and family style was how they practiced it so they could learn it and still let their child grow up and fight with them.
All
You
right.
guys have been great. If you do me a favor, the Boken are actually not
They need
shooting
to knock
ears.
each other out.
Oh yeah, face your partner. Back up just enough that they can't reach you in case they decide they're still violent. And now with the sword in your hand, very short bow to your partner. Right? That is a sign of respect. It doesn't mean you like them, but you are thanking your partner for concluding a safe class, because we did promise sparring where you're coming around going here and nobody got hurt and you could have. So you're just thanking each other for that. Thank you. The Bokens, if you could put them back in that bag, if anybody's interested in the moves and learning more about swordsmanship and stuff, or if you're just willing to support my future therapy bills, we have DVDs for sale. I will sign them. I will sign almost anything, but I draw the line on blood cry. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.